Ryan Rodney Reynolds, for the record. I
Lordy.
popped
That's
up when
kind
I
of
paused
black.
the
I
movie.
mean, yeah, Rodney.
Rodney.
I ain't never met a white dude named Rodney, bro.
Hey.
Facts. I ain't never met a white dude named Rodney. Like, really?
Hello, welcome to Survivor's Ed, How to Not Die First in a Horror Movie. I'm Chris.
I'm Tawny.
I'm Miles.
We're two blacks and a Mexican. And you gonna eat your cornbread? Because we talking about Life today, the 1999 film starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence on today's episode of Survivor's Ed. What'd y'all think of Life? Sorry, I didn't have a quote from this movie, so I just chose a Life that I did have a quote.
It's not very quotable.
It's not very quotable. So today we are talking, first of all, this is a horror movie show. Welcome. We talk about horror movies, good, bad, whatever. And we talk about the experiences of the people of color in those films, because often we don't do well in those films. And so today we're talking about a movie that not a lot of people saw, but is, I would say, a pretty good hidden gem. Life, 2017 film, directed by Daniel Espinosa, starring Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson, like pretty solid cast.
Bunch of good ass actors,
right. Like serious actors.
Yeah. But this would be a movie that people didn't really see. But essentially, this is a sort of a alien, claustrophobic space sci-fi horror film. Not to go too deep into it right away, but essentially, we're talking about an organism that very quickly evolves and becomes a problem for our lovely, charismatic crew. And as you know, with movies like this, that crew gets smaller and smaller. And we wonder all the way up to the very end who's going to make it out. So I think that's the Cliff Notes version of Life, right? Yeah, what's the situation in Life?
They're on the International Space Station, and it's really cool. Like, you've got, I don't know, I was trying to look at everybody's patches or whatever, but we got a couple of Americans. We have the Japanese flag. We have the like the British, or like, I don't know, the Great Britain flag on Rebecca Ferguson. I'm pretty sure the commander is Russian, but I didn't really catch her patch on her shoulder. Yeah. Right, and then shows Japanese. Great freaking cast, and it was just like I never would have. And thank you, Miles. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I'm sure I've heard of this movie, but I would never have sat down to watch it if you hadn't suggested it. And it's such a gem, and it's such in terms of like atmosphere and the texture of the sets, like that. It's gorgeous. Like, and you know, I've obviously seen a lot of movies that take place in space, and there are, you know, times when it's supposed to look really futuristic and times when it looks less. And there's something about this set that, like, is really satisfying. All the hatches, like the way they move through the station where they're like floating through gravity and they just have socks on. There's something really cool about the movement. So they discover a new species. I think it's Martian, right? That's the whole thing. It's like it's from Mars. They have soil samples and they discover like a cell, and it's like the guy's like, oh, there's looks like cilia, but more like flagella, and it's this little
like
cell
all
that
super
has
smart and shit. Like nobody knows.
I remember I fucking love science. Honestly, I'm an English teacher, but like I've loved science my whole life. So especially biology, same. It's like a thing where I just like I'm like tuned into whatever they're saying, and it's just neat because it's a carbon-based life form, and you're watching it and it's evolving or not. They use the word evolve, and I don't know that evolve is the right word. Like, I feel like adapt is the right word. Evolution is, the definition of evolution is it takes place over multiple generations and millions of years. But the thing adapts like hell. Like, it adapts like crazy, and it takes in what it can and it gets its nutrition. So there's this organism, and at first everybody's like all like enamored of it, and it's a marvel, and there's like the whole crew's on USA Today or whatever, and they're answering questions, and then all of a sudden, just like you would expect, the organism does not turn out to be something that is interested in us surviving, and it's interested in its own preservation, which, like, how can you blame it for that? I don't know if you can. And they have that whole conversation, but that's the setup. And again, just like really great cast, like fun characters, fantastic set, just like just hitting lots of marks on all of that stuff.
Yeah, I like space, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like space movies. Like, I'm
Space tight.
I'm a fan of space. You know what I'm saying? Space is tight. You know, but nah, like I I just like same like I was telling y'all, like I don't even know how like
Pineapple Express when he just looks up in the sky and he's like, space.
Right. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages.
I just like, yeah, like I randomly came across this movie. I don't even know where or when. Like, I think it was just on TV one day, and I just watched it because it's about space. So I'm that's all I need. Check off my box. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, damn, this is like, what? How come nobody talked about this movie? Like, I never heard anybody even recommend this movie to me or anything. It just kind of was out there. I guess they made it and everybody just went home. I don't know. Like, but it's so, but yeah, it's super tight. Like, I love the cast. I don't hate Ryan Reynolds in this, so that's special, you know, for me.
Your irrational hate of that man.
Yeah. Yeah, the cast is super dope. Actually, I just don't like it. You know what? I saw somebody else. I was out at a store or something. People were talking, and I don't even remember what they were talking about, but it was like something about like, my God, I hate that guy so much. I was gonna look over like, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't just me. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know, but he's not bad in this movie. But
yeah, I get it.
He's doing his shtick a little bit in here, but it's not like too much to where it's overwhelming. It doesn't just overpower the script. Yeah. So it fits. It fits his character because he's like, what is he? I forget what he does. He's
like the closest to being. He's the
like a handyman type of thing.
Yeah, like a working class dude, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, he's like,
because he says that line to what's his name, where he's like, you know, there's 30 or whatever something guys back home that can do my job.
Right.
You know, there's nobody that can do, you know, yours. So he is just kind of like a blue collar guy, which Ryan Reynolds does not look like a blue collar guy, but yeah, you know. But I like I think the creature design is dope on here. I like the it's interesting. Like when they first showed it, I was like, what the hell is that? It just looked kind of, you know, weird to me. It looked like that this is what they're gonna be almost fighting, but
borderline cute, even.
Cute, yeah. Like the little baby arms and the appendages, and it was waving. I was like, man, look at this thing, man. Yeah, it was like Groot, like basically like growing, like. And then when it starts to evolve or change, rather, very quickly, I'm like, oh, this shit. It almost becomes like it has like these tentacles. It's almost like a squid or something. I don't even know what exactly.
Like the veiny.
Yes.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. That shit is creepy looking. I was like, and I mean, what do you do? Like, because it has like they don't even know a ton about it. They're learning it as it goes, like what it's capable of. And apparently it's capable of everything. Yeah. And they said that line where it's like 50% muscle and brain or something like that. Like it's basically as strong as it is smart, basically. And it's dope though. I dig that. I like some of the setups with the like when the thing is on his leg. I just thought that was just a super creepy ass, like, because I didn't see that coming. I didn't know his character was just strange and was obsessed with the thing anyway. And I thought that maybe it had something to do with he thought that there was some sort of I don't know, like cure type of thing, because he talked about like maybe there's something in Calvin that could help solve these problems with, you know, like stem cell type of thing, where maybe it could, you know, cure the uncurable type of thing. Maybe I could walk again. He didn't say that, but he pretty much was saying that, like. So I don't know if maybe that was his obsession with it. Was like there was a possibility, like a fountain of youth type of thing, or some remedy.
Yeah, there was a darkness to his view. Like there was like a sad darkness or something to the way he saw it.
That seemed like that was like his obsession with it. But when it's on his leg, I'm like, oh shit! I jumped too. Like when they like, because it's like you don't know what's wrong with him and it's random. That's a good death. Even Ryan Reynolds, his death is
oh my
like,
god,
man,
he's so good.
like,
And again, I was watching it again, and it goes in, and like he's spazzing out, you know, like, and I'm like, it's very good. Like he does it really well.
It's unsettling.
It's so unsettling. Like when the moment where you just see his body just moving, like not on its own, basically, like because the thing is moving and he's no longer alive, basically. And you just see these blood, like just like floating in the air. And then they show like a shot, like a moment after that, his body just floating in there. And I'm like, that is so, like, it's so unnerving.
It's so sad.
Just,
yeah.
So they got some good kills in here. And obviously the ending, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I was like, I didn't, like, when I watched it this time, it obviously was more apparent. I could see the, you know, the cues of like them signaling, but it's shocking because you're like, wait, what? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, and again, watching it the first time, I wasn't sure where they were gonna go. Like, I was like, how is it gonna end? Like, what beat is it gonna end on? And then they did this, like, and it's like an old school ending. When you think about it, though, like that's like an old school, like
Twilight Zone type thing.
Like, and then it's like dun dun dun, and you hear that like strong like beat,
the score,
of, like, and it's great, and it's perfect, and it's classic, like it's a classic. Yeah. And he's like, no, you know, and she's like flipping out because she's spinning out in a deep space or whatever. But like, I thought that was, again, could have been corny were it in a lesser movie. But like, it worked because I was wondering where they were going to go. And when I wasn't quite expecting that, you know, like I wasn't quite expecting what happened. And the way it was executed was really clean and like satisfying and upsetting.
Yeah. I think because I wasn't expecting that either, it maybe really caught me off guard. Because I don't know. I just thought she would live and, you know, whatever. She's the final girl. He didn't want to be on Earth anyway. He kept saying that. And it was like, oh, okay, well, fine. Like, he sacrificed himself.
Like
there was always something.
Nobody got what they wanted.
Yeah. It looks so nasty in there too. Whatever that it created in there inside, I was like, ugh, that shit it's just like tissue and like muscle. I don't know what the hell.
Gross. Yeah. With like a net almost.
That definitely would have elicited an ice cube. Oh, what's that? Ugh.
Why did they not? And the dudes pulling up, they were like bothered by that. I'd have been like, whoa, I ain't opening that shit. Like,
right. That's the other thing too. I'm like, look in there first. Like, do you see what's going on? Do you feel like that's a good idea to open that?
They saw a man, and were like, no, help him.
Like, maybe I'm an asshole, but like, I wouldn't open that shit.
Well, we'll get to that later about what. See, that's what I'm saying. I think my rule idea is accurate, but so anyway, I really love this movie on first watch. I was like, man, like I was drawn in pretty immediately by the cinematography, and just they did a good job. You know, we've talked about that in other episodes this season, but like when you can sort of clearly carve out some characters that it's like, okay, I get this guy's deal, I get this girl's deal, I get this guy's deal. It was good. It wasn't too clumsy or anything. I mean, you know, probably the most kind of like, this guy's probably not going to make it thing was when Sho saw his son or his daughter being born. And you're just like, oh boy. That was probably the only one where I was just like, oh boy. that kid's not getting seen. But like but other than that, I mean, and even that was pretty heartwarming. And so like it was a good job like establishing the characters. The acting was good. I really just a side note, why wasn't Rory Canadian? Like Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. Like you think,
good question.
You think if you wanted to like show look how like this is it's like
because they had everybody from everywhere.
Well, right?
It was like
it's like why wouldn't you do that? It's like you got Ryan Reynolds. Ryan
were
Reynolds
like,
right there.
Somebody was like, "What does the Canadian flag look like?" And everyone was like, "I don't know." And they're like, "Just make it American then."
right.
A little leaf or something? No, that can't be right. No, I just
can't be right.
and Ryan Reynolds literally is right there. Like, yeah, I don't know. But all that aside, like, no, it was really good, and I think the creature design was really cool. Like, I'm a sucker for good creature design, and to see it evolve throughout the film and become increasingly scary and creepy, and just to watch it move around, it just had all the makings of a really good thing. I know some of the criticisms of it, I was kind of looking up to see like what happened with this movie and why it didn't get more traction, and it seems like it was sort of a middling in terms of reviews, and a lot of people were sort of negatively comparing it to Alien and stuff and just saying it wasn't doing anything original. But I just think like sometimes we get too hung up on, is this completely new?
Why does it have to be that?
Well
I want to
done?
say like one thing
And I think
that I
it was well
really
done.
appreciated about it, like one thing that I think was a complete departure from the whole Alien structure, like story structure, was that like her whole shit was like, we are not getting this thing back to Earth. Like that is the fucking like the prime, what is it, like the prime directive, like this cannot. And I thought like you don't see like, I can't even think of another movie where, and she's the CDC, like she's like the CDC person, like obviously like they all have different jobs or whatever, and she's like the disease person or whatever, and it's just like she's like, it's kind of funny because like when you think of, if you're thinking of comparing it to Alien, like Ash's whole shit is like he's secretly trying to get this organism back to the company, and her whole thing is like, this cannot go back to Earth, like, and at all costs this will be like, we will try to prevent this from getting back to Earth. And I thought that was really something that I haven't seen in a lot of other movies like this, where like there's some sort of organism that's potentially valuable. And yes, the creature design is gorgeous. I love that it's not humanoid. I love that it's just like this sort of almost cellular, like flagellate, like wings or whatever, like, because that's what
feels like it's just becoming whatever it needs to be.
That's what some shit from space would look like. Like it would just have appendages that were meant for and I loved it. And
I wonder, would it even?
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of beautiful. Like there's something about it that's like, it's got wings, like it's kind of pretty, it's kind of interesting that they went that route.
In a terrifying way. Like
I think pretty in the way that's like, if it was in real life, I would like probably have a heart attack and die. But
that's extremely
pretty.
Yeah.
And this is one creature that is not afraid of fire.
It was running from it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was running from that flame. It was running from the flame. Like,
it's just not enough.
It wasn't a fan. It wasn't a fan.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder, like, I don't know what it would look like. It looked like it looked because it was adapting to the environment that it was in. I don't even know. And the way it was getting around that way because there's no gravity. So it's doing a lot of float. Like, I don't even know. We don't know what it would ultimately look like on Earth when it comes into contact with whatever it comes into contact down there. It looks the way it looks, and it is the way it is because of the environment that it's in. And even that thing it does at the end inside of that pod, when we'd never seen it do that before. We don't even know what that is. Like, or so it's like I like that it is like sort of like you said, not humanoid, and it's just sort of formless in a lot of different ways, where it's just a thing. I don't know what the hell like that would even ultimately end up like, what its form is, and
its final form.
Yeah, you really don't know, but yeah, it's dope, man. It's creepy, man. I was creeped out for sure.
Yeah. And it's funny, like when you mentioned Tawny, the character of the like crew of this sort of being a important thing to not let it get to Earth, and it wasn't singularly held by Miranda, but it was sort of, she was kind of the one voicing it. But they all sort of were pretty much in lockstep with that understanding once it got to where it got. And it reminds me of it's a thing in like a lot of like Japanese RPG games where they've talked about this story thing of, we don't want there to be a moral quandary amongst our characters about whether what they're doing is the right thing or not. We want them to just know that what they're doing is the right thing. And so you don't see the level of internal struggle in those games as you do in a lot of other things, because they've just intentionally decided, no, like that's not the thing. Like these characters are inherently heroic, so they're going to do what's right. It's more so like, can they overcome the challenges ahead of them? And that feels like the mentality that was taken in writing these characters of like, generally, that like, no, it's not a question of like, should we or shouldn't we? It's like, oh, there's two options and one is keeping it from Earth, and that's the one we're going to do. And I appreciate that too, that story element.
And it really was, yeah, it's refreshing, like considering like that we've all been seasoned with the Aliens movies where it's like, fuck everyone.
It's so cynical.
It's always some corporation coming in because they need. I like that they were principled in the fact that they were like, even like when they were going to kill it, like he's like, permission to kill it, not because this is just a valued asset. Permission to kill it because I don't want to break protocol, you know, in order, like, is it safe to go in there basically to kill it and move on from this? Like, I don't know if they were so caught up on the idea of, you know, this is an asset. We have to, it wasn't about money necessarily. It seemed more about exploration, like finding something new and then understanding what this thing is that we found is new. And then I was so glad that there wasn't, even though our main homie, like he was a little, you know, obsessive over the, you know, thing. Like I feel like even he understood, like, okay, this is dangerous. Oh, I forgot to even say that. Like his hand being like broken, like
I can't even watch, like it's the
yeah.
worst thing that like possible. Like I can't even, like, I'm like, okay, I know that's coming. I'm going to cover my eye. Like, and I'll watch, like, splatter movies, like, till the end of time. But, like, I cannot see somebody, like, in a realistic way get their hand crushed. There's something about hand crushing. What's that movie?
Very visceral.
Have you guys seen, is it, like, Hush? There's, like, it's, like, a girl and she's deaf. And she's, like, being attacked by some crazy person. Do you remember this scene where
home invasion
with
movie,
the hand? Yeah, the home invasion. I was just like, oh man, I can't deal with that. I can't watch this. And I can't look at, there's something again so upsetting about seeing somebody's hand get crushed. But at the
just
same
bones,
time,
period. Like I can't see bone, like people's arm getting bent the wrong way or ankle or something. I can't watch that shit. Like I just,
unless it's like The Raid or something. Right. That's literally all that movie is people's stuff getting bent the wrong way.
Yeah, I can't. I hate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, since you already brought it up, I think it is time to pivot to a section of the show that we call "You Good, Homie." And this movie has a couple of homies, but no, homie's not good in this. We'll just spoiler alert: homie's not good. So neither homie. But one homie in particular, we have questions. We have questions for you, Mr. Dr. Hugh Derry.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What are you doing? What are you
doing? What's good with you, bro?
Listen, okay. For those who
electroshock therapy on alien organisms, like just don't even put your hand in there. Like, there's an alien, we don't know what it is. Like, do you want to stick your fucking hand in that? No.
I don't understand why they didn't have like robotic arms or something in there where they could control it from the outside, but their hand wouldn't physically be going in there.
Because there's no reason reason why anyone should ever think that some alien organism you found on Mars is not going to try to kill you. Like, there's no reason to, you know.
My thinking is that, you know, it's like it's similar to the this is what I'm talking about. This is just like Signs, y'all. You knew where I was going here, Miles. You knew that's where I was going. It's just like this is Signs, but in reverse. It's like, oh, you've never seen that before. It's you don't know it's bad. But
assume it's going to try to kill you.
You know, listen,
anything from outer space, I generally assume is bad. Like,
hindsight's 2020, y'all. You know, to him it was a cute little little Q-tip. It looked like a little it looked like the end of a Q-tip. But you know, and I think the thing is though, no, look in real talk, like he was tripping from day one because like. Yeah. This guy, look, I mean, I get it, right? Like he's, this means something to him. And this is literally game changing. Like it's a big deal. You discovered extraterrestrial life. And I'm sure ship equipment wise, yeah, sure. They maybe wouldn't be equipped to handle that thing because they never knew if that thing existed until now. But where you lose me is when, the thing appears to be in what is it? Sleeping, hibernating, dead maybe, but you do weird stuff.
Right,
you do weird stuff breach to get it back going.
Isn't
again.
there there's some kind of weird breach and that there's that scene where and I just still didn't understand. Yeah. I'm like, did the alien make that happen? Like where the steam
Probably.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure about that either. He kept saying it was something happened where he thought it was his fault where he didn't the firewall, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it was just like whatever that thing was supposed to have been the thing that caused the organism to stop developing, and he was going to try to go in and electric shock it into. And I'm just like, don't do that. There's no if it's not dead.
That was the most mom thing you've ever said on this podcast.
Don't put your fucking hand in there. And I tell the boys, I'm like, don't put your hand anywhere. If you can't see what you're putting your hand into, don't put it in there. Like, don't put your foot in there.
It's not worth it.
Don't put it in.
And here's the thing, like you could kind of see it, and I love that scene when Rory is kind of just like, stop calling that thing Calvin, first of all. And he's just like, yo, listen, you're important here. Like, stop with this. And I think that's why we sort of kind of ceremoniously or unofficially have named Rory as another homie. And we know Ryan Reynolds is the whitest white man you can think of. But in this particular role,
except for in this movie,
his name's fucking Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's pretty white. Ryan Rodney Reynolds, for the record. I popped
that's
up.
That's kind of black. I mean, Rodney.
Rodney.
I ain't never met a white dude named Rodney, bro.
Thanks.
I ain't never met a white dude named Rodney. Like, really? I'm just automatically assuming,
dude.
Like, yeah.
Rodney, the homie Rodney showed up for this one, and he, just a quick honorable mention because, he rode hard for the other homie Hugh, and paid for it with his life, saving Hugh.
He's the working class, like he's the most working class. He's the one that's like, the most sort of skeptical about like this whole idea of like now. We're like this is the thing that's going to lift us all. Like he's the most skeptical, the most cynical. He's the most working class. He's the most like willing to go in and put his body in danger. And it's like if that's not what a brown person is in most of these circumstances, and I don't know what is. So, I'd sent the guys a text earlier. I was like, I'm feeling Ryan Reynolds is an honorary homie on this movie. Just because he just feels like, and we were talking about how he's coded that way. Like, even though he's played by a white dude, like that's a role that could have been and might have in some other time just automatically have gone to a person of color. And I feel like, there's something about that that's really fun, and like even to the and he's the first one that's off, and it's so vicious and violent, and like gross. Like I can't. Nobody else dies in such a way that's so like where you watch the face.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
And there's yeah.
His and I've seen the reaction that he had when they caught that satellite when he caught it. I've seen that on the basketball court. that's a homie right there.
Right.
Yeah. Just
the more y'all say it, the more y'all say it, the more I'm like, damn, yeah, this is because typically like in these movies, like Hugh's character would be like some white, scientist guy that's
it'd be like Jared Harris or somebody.
and the worker guy would be just some black Winston and shit like this on there,
right.
Fixing stuff. I was saying that Winston,
like Tay Diggs or somebody. Yep.
Like just a guy that fixes stuff, like
or Ice Cube, just Ice Cube randomly.
Right. Just
I purposely didn't name him because he refuses to die in these movies apparently. So.
If this was like earlier 2000, if this movie came out like 2003, 4, this would have had a rapper in there. Like the black dude, it would have been like somebody, Ice Cube, Method Man, or some shit would have been in there.
Method Man. He's a decent actor, actually.
Yeah,
but that would have been funny.
He's good in The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeez. So, all right. So our other homie is Sho, who we all fell in love with on multiple levels.
Yes.
Very handsome man, who
Yes.
you may have seen recently as Scorpion in Mortal Kombat as well, for about 9 minutes of screen time, unfortunately. Yeah. But I digress. But yeah, so this character was early in the movie introduced that he had a family. Doesn't bode well for people in horror movies when they lean in on that part of it sometimes. Although sometimes it makes you hopeful, like, oh, he'll get back to his family.
I know. I really was hoping that would happen in some way. Like he would be the one. Whatever. Like, and I actually really like Rebecca Ferguson a whole lot. Like, I really think she's great.
Yeah,
and I like her face.
Yeah, I
like her energy. I love her face. I think she's fantastic.
She's great
she is. Dr. Sleep, Rose the Hat.
Oh my God.
She's fucking fantastic. I love her.
Yeah.
But I didn't like. It wasn't like I needed her to live. But I was hoping that Sho made it because he had a baby. And I thought because he's adorable.
Listen, her fate was probably worse than his, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
she's just out there right now, like still
forever.
Floating.
I don't know if I want that one.
Yeah,
screaming into oblivion.
Oh man,
like
that's so
daily.
Scary to think about. That's so scary to think about though, because until you run out of whatever you is in there, it's not that much. But until then, you're just gonna spin uncontrollably until
or hit something or
yeah.
Hopefully she's got
so dark.
She's got like a good cyanide tooth in there somewhere. I don't know, something like that.
One would hope. See, I would believe that about the Russian lady. I don't know if I.
She's playing. I really liked her too. She's Rebecca Ferguson is playing Lady Jessica in Dune, and I'm so excited for that. I think she's gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's great. Yeah, she's great in Mission Impossible too. Like she's good. So yeah, Sho did not make it. He's tried to get to the other ship and didn't go so well.
Did his comm go out? He couldn't communicate with them anymore,
Yeah.
right? Because he took his comm out.
He
I felt
thought
bad. I
that,
felt so
like,
bad for him because he was just in there
Yeah.
by himself basically and dies.
The thing
just
attached,
alone
and
with,
then she's like, the other craft attached, and she's telling Jake Gyllenhaal this is not rescue. They're here to destroy the organism or whatever. But Sho doesn't know that, and he thinks it's a rescue, and so he jumps out of his pod, and he's trying to get over to whatever the craft is or whatever, and it's just fucking. There's Calvin right there. Fucking Calvin.
Yeah, that was messed up. Yeah, it sucks because like he just goes in that pod too, and like he's like looks at like a picture of his family. I'm like, damn, they really like, just don't care about dude. Like,
This is so depressing. Hold on. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So yeah, homies didn't do well. Okay.
Homies didn't do well.
So, like I feel our whole vibe just kind of slowly like getting sadder.
it's because we
and,
like cared so much about him and shit.
Yeah, man, the homie show, man. Like Hugh kind of, he was doing too much. So
Yeah, he was doing-
it's
he
sad,
was-
but all right. But show, man, come on. And he's a great actor.
I like that they use that. I was gonna say I like that they use that because they have like trackers or something on them, and they were able, like, after it was attached to his leg and was eating it, like it allowed them to be able to track him after that. I thought that was kind of cool.
And it's creepy how it was like the dot was erratically kind of moving around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get to our rule. So, this week's rule is it sounds messed up on the surface, y'all, but cut your losses. Look, multiple times in this movie, you have characters saving other characters. You know what? Ultimately, it leads to possibly the extinction of all human life. So, yeah, maybe don't save that guy. You got
If anybody
got
that's
Rory
sticking
saving
their
Hugh.
sticking the hand into the alien's face, like, you just let that guy float around for a while. It's okay. That's where it started. Is when Ryan Reynolds went in to save Hugh. That's like it would have been
and
fine.
even Show basically sacrifices himself once he realizes what's going on. He ends up grabbing the thing, and it just creating basically a distraction for them to get away. But even that doesn't work because she's dead, and then he took the thing back to Earth. So it was like, yeah, stop saving people, man. Like, just
Yeah. I mean, yeah, David trying to save her. Look what happened, David. Like, come on,
And the thing, like, what happened there? Because it seemed the thing, because I know he said that the pods that they get into will automatically go to Earth unless you pilot them.
What was it called?
Manually.
What was the term?
And it looked like the
decaying
thing was
orbit?
moving.
Decaying orbit? Is that what the
I don't know.
Yes.
terminology
Yeah,
was?
that's what it
Okay.
was. Yeah.
Does that mean that the
Well,
orbit's just getting smaller? Like, I meant to look this up, I swear to God, but did anybody look it up? Like, I was thinking if it's a
Well,
decaying orbit, does that
I
mean that the
didn't
thing
look
is
at
going to
it,
go
yeah.
off? Like, does that mean that it's going to go because the gravity's lessening, or does that mean that...
Well, I think
thing's-
hers got hit. I think her pod got hit by like a piece of debris or something.
It
I
must
think
have
I
been.
remember seeing one of them got hit, and I think the Calvin or whatever the thing looked like it was controlled, because he said it won't go to Earth if you control it manually, and it looked like it was grabbing his hand on
Right, he
the
was trying to-
steering to make him. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. I don't know.
I mean, like, look, trying to help people in this movie, it just never did anything. It's a really cynical and dark movie if you really think about it. Thanks for this, Miles. Like, it's like every time you save somebody, it means bad things.
Yeah,
kind of does.
pretty
I
much.
mean,
And
I think
you die
within-
horribly.
Yeah, and I think, but I feel like I always feel like an asshole when I'm like the person, I'm watching a movie like this where there's some sort of survival situation, and they're like, we need to go back and get so and so, and I'm like, that motherfucker's dead. What are you talking about going back and getting so and so? Like, what? There's nothing to be gained by that other than like, oh, we get to
Right.
say that we tried to save everyone. Now we've endangered everyone else, and it's so unpragmatic, and I feel like that's
It
just
is, but like,
yeah.
and I was gonna say it is, but like this movie actually presents those scenarios really well. Because like when Rory saves Hugh, it's just like this split second thing where it's like, I'm getting him. You're just kind of like, yeah. I mean, because in the moment you're like, yeah, like it'd be kind of messed up to not try, I guess. And it's like, it's not those scenarios like in the zombie movies where the person's clearly like, it's like, come on now. But like these situations feel more like there is this sort of like even with the Russian lady, when she gets there and David's just trying to like get her in, and she's turning it the wrong way and stuff, and it's just
that's one of the most creative deaths that I've seen. I really
I
was like
upsetting and like stressful. Yeah, like just watching it happen slowly, because like that's my the idea of drowning is like, ooh, like that's the worst possible thing.
Oh
for
my
me.
god,
like,
that is one of my worst fears.
Being underwater, like no way. Like I will never go on.
And
a
that was like
cruise.
coolant. And remember, because he was like, don't swallow it.
Yeah, you can't swallow it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
the deaths on here are like pretty excellent, man. Like that, which makes me like, which annoys me that people's like perspective of the movie was that it didn't reinvent the wheel or whatever, and I feel like without doing that, it still was pretty enjoyable to me. I don't know, like I wasn't looking for it to do that. I didn't have any. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I actually felt like it was really original, and like in the way that it again, like that idea of like, we have, and this is like the Alien movies, but like the company and like, having to deliver the organism, like that wasn't there at all. There was a whole other ethos, right, to that these people were operating on. And we have like Ryan Reynolds somehow as a person of color, and like all these deaths, and this organism that doesn't look like it's not some hideous monster. Like it's kind of cute for a long time, and it has these little wings, and it looks pretty. It's almost pretty. But I felt like it was. I felt like it was a really sort of original take on maybe a familiar theme, but like the notes themselves and the movie itself was pretty original. And that was my.
There seems to be an easy kind of, that's the easy out almost for some reason, of like just compared to Alien, and like I just think with space movies, space horror, people will immediately gravitate to comparing it to Alien, which to me is absurd, because it's like it's just a setting, like it's just a setting, and it's a great setting. Yeah. Like why wouldn't you do more with that setting? Like who says like, oh, we already did Alien, it's called Alien, like you can't do nothing else with aliens without it being compared to Alien. It's just like, you can. I mean, like I like Sunshine. Have you ever seen Sunshine? With I haven't seen it.
Danny
Boyle movie.
That's Danny Boyle, right? With Kieran, what's his face? Kieran.
Killian Murphy. Killian Murphy.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's good. It's good. Okay. It's kind of weird. It turns into a whole different movie towards the end, but like it's interesting. Like these settings aren't bad, and this movie gets overlooked probably because the trailer might have maybe the marketing wasn't good too. I don't know. I didn't.
I think that like because I don't see how you would just like hate this. I mean, maybe you don't like science fiction. That's fine, but aside from it, I guess being derivative, it's done well. I don't know. Like it's not like it's done poorly to where you're offended because it's just like so amateur. It's like this is done pretty well. The cast is good. It's not like, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was like a masterpiece or anything like that. But I mean, like, it's a dope movie. Also, don't go to Mars. Like, I mean, like,
yeah.
Don't fucking touch organisms that are not like don't touch them. Don't even get within 5 feet of them.
I'm starting to think like Mars is a bad idea. Like I don't know. Like I feel like movies in some instances have been accurate with their predictions
even
of
with,
things.
Even with Desolation Williams on Mars.
Yeah, I mean,
just stay away from Mars.
It's like you would think you see an entire planet that's just red. You might think, maybe that one's not for me. Maybe that one's not for me.
Oh, red dust? The entire planet?
Yeah, red literally means stop. Motherfucker, like don't go there. It's
the red planet, huh? Yeah, that sounds like a real utopia.
Yeah.
So, this was fun. So, Life. Interesting movie. If you haven't seen it, please do. it's really good kind of claustrophobic sci-fi horror film with a really cool kind of character design and a fun one that Miles introduced us to. So I need to introduce y'all to something. Tawny and Miles
Tawny
have both
has given us a
introduced me to
couple
things.
ones.
Yeah.
I forced you into a few things.
Yeah.
You should pick
Some
the
of
last
which-
one.
some
like,
of
'cause
which
we only
were-
got
Yeah,
one more,
pick the
right?
la-
You should pick the last
Pick
one.
something. Pick something
Maybe
that
something
Miles
new,
and I
maybe, I
have
don't
not
know.
seen. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well, I don't know if I'll be able to. Well, I actually have one, but I don't know. All right. Well, this has been Survivor's Ed: How to Not Die First in a Horror Movie. We are Two Blacks and a Mexican. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, 2BXM Podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, comment, join the conversation. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or any podcast network, if you're able to, be sure to rate and review. It really helps with the algorithm and getting more folks to see this. Otherwise, we got one more episode this season, y'all. We don't even know what we're talking about yet. But that will be the end of Survivor's Ed. And so please, again, share this around as much as you can. Also check out our other show, Your Favorite Movie's Racist, which will be coming back later this summer. Until next time, stay safe.